Rather lads, welcome back to the Cossy podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. Mikel Arteta has promised that Arsenal have adjusted to the market, and therefore we are going to see deals happening very, very soon. Mikel says that Arsenal have been affected by the Euros, the Copa America tournaments, and he also says that teams have changed, clubs have changed in terms of the way they're approaching the market, in terms of selling, but also in terms of buying. So I thought in this video, I would make sense of the manager's words in terms of agreeing with him, but also disagreeing with him as well. So let's start off with his claims about PSR, because he says that most clubs have now reimagined the way they look at transfers. Most clubs have actually, rethought their selling process and their buying process. And we saw that in June. I will agree with him there because we saw a lot of nonsensical deals in June. We saw a lot of bad deals in June. And really the big boys, the Arsenals, the Barcelonas, the Bayerns of this world didn't make a lot of buys in June. Obviously, Bayern did buy Michael Olise. I think that was around June. But it was a slow window in June. And the reason was that Premier League teams had that PSR deadline. So many of them couldn't buy because they would be in breach of the PSR rules if they overspent, and many of them couldn't sell because the clubs you have to sell to are not willing to buy. So case in point, Arsenal wanted Douglas Luiz, we couldn't get him, and even if we wanted to get him, Villa yes wanted to sell in order for them to make some money to be on the right hand side of PSR rules. But Arsenal couldn't spend 50 million on Douglas Luiz because if Arsenal had spent 50 million, then we would have breached the PSR rules ourselves and would have been in trouble, despite the fact that we would have bailed Aston Villa out of trouble. So that's the reason as to why we saw the David Raya deal come in a little bit later, 1st of July, rather than earlier on in June, because Arsenal had promised Brentford that the moment we get over the deadline of the PSR rules, we are 100% going to trigger the buy option in David Raya's deal. So I will agree with Mikel Arteta that the new rules that are coming in to replace the profit and the profit and sustainability rules that are coming in to replace financial fair play are actually affecting the market a little bit differently as compared to how FFP or financial fair play was. We saw it in January. Clubs didn't spend, Arsenal didn't even bother spending, and we were told it was because of PSR. It was because of these new rules that clubs have to follow. Otherwise, you're going to have a points deduction, you're going to face relegation, and you're going to have so many problems, regarding, the enforcers of the rules, who are the Premier League. So Mikel Arteta also says that the Euros and the Copa America tournaments have actually slowed down the window. I will agree with him to one point, to some case in point, and then I'll also disagree with him at some point. I think the Copa America tournament and the Euros have delayed clubs that don't know what they are actually doing in this market, given the fact that players like Ricardo Calafiori were not in Mikel Arteta's plans. It means that we're still gambling about what we want to do this summer. And why I'm saying that, the Copa America tournament and Euros have only affected clubs that are not really sure about what they want to do. Think about Manchester United and think about Jared Branthwaite and think about the bid for Jared Branthwaite, the bid for Zaxi, the bid for Lenny Yoro, and the bid for Manuel Ugarte. Man United have bid for 5 top class players within that period where you have the Euros and you have the Copa America tournament going on. And that already tells you that if a club had their plan already set in motion, if a club already knew what they were going to do and they had locked in that this is what they're going to do, we're going to sign a midfielder and we're going to have 3 options, Ugarte, maybe Onana and Yusuf Fofana, Manchester United have shown us clear case in point that if you have a plan and you have already the names on that plan, you can sign players even with the Euros going on, even with the Copa America going on. It's the same thing with Bayern. They have signed Joao Palhinha. Palhinha is in the Euros, by the way. They have signed Michael Olise, not at the Euros. They have signed, I think they're very close to signing Jonathan Tah, not at the Euros. There's also another player they have signed from Stuttgart. So that means that the window, I agree with Mikel that yes, the Copa America tournament has slowed us down. And I also disagree with him at some point in time. And why I disagree with him there is that yes, it has slowed down clubs that were not prepared for what they were going to do. And it's been business as usual for clubs that already had a plan in motion. And this is where I don't understand Arsenal. For the last 3 markets, Arsenal have been very, very vigilant. We have been very, very clean, very smart, very sharp. We know what we want to do, how we want to do it, when we want to do it, and who we are going to do it with. And then in this window, where he thought that Arsenal must be looking sharper to go over the line, go get your targets early, get them in Marbella in Spain to train with the manager, early, we have a very, very hard season start, go and, you do your business a little bit early. We are finding excuses. We're trying to find excuses. I don't like that. I kind of feel like we are not as serious as Bayern, as serious as Madrid. Because Madrid at the moment, they've already brought in Kylian Mbappe. They would have waited until Kylian Mbappe ends his tenure at the Euros, and then they would have signed him. But they've already brought him in, despite the fact that it was a free transfer. Still, it was a very, very big deal in football. So, Mikel, when he says that the tournaments have slowed things down, yeah, I agree. I think Liverpool have not signed anyone. City have not signed anyone either. And Arsenal have, slowly started, picking up pace. But it has been too slow to use the 2 tournaments as an excuse. So, Mikel Arteta also says that we know what we want. The market is difficult, but we are trying to find a way. We are trying to find a way of adapting, and we're trying to find a way of adjusting our plans. Again, I think that Mikel Arteta, this is his second season, second summer with Copa America and the Euros in it. The first one was 2021 when we signed the likes of Ben White, Martin Odegaard, and a couple of others. It wasn't an easy summer. I remember we had to wait for the Ben White signing for quite a long period of time. And my point is, they would have known, and they should have known that, you doing transfers during the Euros period is actually very hard. So when you do, you target players that are not at the Euros, in my opinion, because the players that are not at the Euros do not carry the Euros tax. For example, Murillo is at the Copa America tournament. Calafiori, Euros. Jared Branthwaite, not at the Euros. Gerard Hato, not at the Euros. So I think we should have worked on the Gerard Hato deal. We should have worked on the Jared Branthwaite deal. Regardless of whether they happened or not, we should have worked on those 2 deals because those 2 players were not at the Euros. And that's what some smart clubs have done. They've gone and signed players that have either, dropped out of the Euros tournament very quickly or were not even at the Euros. And I think that's where Arsenal have actually failed a little bit. That's why we are behind in this transfer window. That's why right now we are losing the window. If we finish the way it is right now, even if we get Ricardo Calafiori, that is not enough to challenge Manchester City, Pep Guardiola, and his boys. Definitely not enough. Now, this is where I disagree with Mikel Arteta 100%. When he says that we have a clear plan, I don't think we have a clear plan. I'm one of the people in June that said, well, I think Arsenal have a clear plan. Early July, first 7 days, I said, we have a clear plan. And even the early first 10 days of July, I said, I think Arsenal have a clear plan. But when I think into it, and when I think about it, I don't think we have a clear plan. Because if we had a clear plan, how are we having around 3 players joining in the list of targets later on in the summer. Calafiori was not on the list by any way, shape, or form. Joao Felix now linked with Arsenal, never in the list, we are told. And Amadou Onana, who we were really, really linked with and highly rate, really thought we would sign, has gone to Aston Villa. So it means that Arsenal's plan is either weak this window or it's not there. Now, I don't want to say it's not there because the way we've done our business over the years, slowly, surely, confidently, it shows that we put some time in planning. We do plan our transfers. We do give our transfers some time. But I think this time, the plan was to go and watch players at the tournaments. That is dangerous. That is absolutely dangerous. Even if you signed 4 players right now after the Euros, it's dangerous. This is my reasoning here. 1, let's say you sign Calafiori because of his Italy performances, and he comes in and becomes a Renato Sanchez. That's a dead deal. Then you sign your mystery German player because maybe he was good at the Euros, and that doesn't work. Becomes a Renato Sanchez. I thought, and I think, and I still value the idea of Arsenal scouting players over a whole year, over 6 months. I want to see that Arsenal have been looking at Eberich Eze for 1.5 years, because what that has done, it has given Arsenal a platform to sign players, and these players have become huge successes, like really, really, really huge successes. Just imagine Odegaard, Ben White, William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, Aaron Ramsdale, David Raya. All these players have become instant hits and instant successful signings because Arsenal have looked at them. And even Declan Rice, the £100 million signing. So when I think about that, I'm like, why didn't we have a plan? Why didn't we have a clear plan? Yes, you're giving us excuses, and maybe we will take excuses. We will take the excuses, and maybe Arsenal will sign players eventually. But where is the plan? Why didn't we have a plan? How come that Man United, by hiring 1, 2, 3, 4 people, Wilcox and Ashworth, have straight away become much better than Arsenal once again? By the way, Man United were always better than us in the transfer window. But how come, by hiring 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 people, they have simply become much better? They are bid for Zaxi, they are bid for Branthwaite, they are bid for Lenny Yoro, they are bid for Ugarte, and they're looking to do good deals. It shows that they had the plan. It shows that they knew what they wanted to do. Probably it was just a case of time. So I think Mikel and Edu have got that wrong. The plan should have been there, and if it was there, we didn't follow it, we should have followed it, right? So are we going to see signings? This is where I support my manager now. Yes, we are going to see signings. I don't think Arsenal are hungry for new signings, but they are crucial. Get me right. Very crucial. A striker is very crucial. Midfielders are very crucial. A defender is not that crucial, and goalkeepers are not that crucial. But because we need a backup and we need a third choice goalkeeper, this time we said they are very crucial, right? So I think it's inevitable that we will see signings coming. It's inevitable that Arsenal will go to the market and do deals. So I don't want you to be there and say, well, Cossy, this team is not going to sign anyone. We will sign them. They will come in. They might not come in at the pace that you want, because even if you're building your own house, you wouldn't pace it at the pace you want to, because you have so many things that get in the way, licensing, money. Probably the company you hire is a company of jocks and jacks. Depends. But the deals are going to be done. That much we know. But the timing of these deals is going to be very crucial. And that's where I think Arsenal are getting it wrong. That's where I think we are getting it wrong. How about getting in your signings quickly before preseason? How about getting in your players so they can join the manager in Marbella, Spain? How about? I think we should have, by now, we should have had two. But now we should have had two. And then maybe come the end of the summer, August, we could add another two, right? Because right now, if we are to start the season, we don't have a goalkeeper really that starts. Both of our goalkeepers have been backup goalkeepers at the Euros, but that doesn't really give you guarantee that they won't ask for a break. So both of our goalkeepers will take a break. You need to sign a third choice goalkeeper who might start the season. And I'm serious, yeah. Okay, let's say Ryan starts the season. Timber. I don't think Calafiori starts the season, does he? Does he start the season? How many players genuinely that have been at the Euros and the Copa America are going to start the tournament, the season? Arsenal have had 10 players at the Euros. 10 players at the Euros. So you have 10 players, and those 10 players might not start the season with you. Maybe the first 2 or even 3 games in August. If you dare drop points in those games, you might not be able to catch Manchester City this time. You might not be able to. So I wanted to make sense of Mikel Arteta's excuses and words and see whether they make any sense. And yeah, I think they do, but we should do better. We really should do better. Honestly, we should do better.